Kim Whitley, welcome, 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 welcome. A new member in the house. Kim Whitley, thank you so much for supporting. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bougie Gang, guess what? Bougie Gang, your lunch is ready. It's ready, 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 ready. Okay. All right, guys, we were live last night. We were into some shenanigans last night. We were reading some of the texts. The texts are so weird. These people are strange. If you didn't catch it, go ahead and catch it. There was something happen, not something that happened, but towards we were kind of getting ready to finish up. And one of our sisters in the audience asked me a question. It kind of threw me off a little bit because I didn't expect that question regarding a someone from the YouTube streets. If you didn't watch it, go check it out. But everything is cool. Okay. Sis is a friend to the show. Sis enjoys watching We'll Talk Bougie. Sis loves sis. Okay. And that's mutual. Sis is like I said, a friend to the show. And someone from the comments, what Bougie Gang came through because they noticed something and wanted to bubble it up to me because I guess they felt like, oh, maybe Fran can get sis that message. Okay. Me immediately, what you may not know about me is I am a little of a worry wart. Okay. So when I was asked the question regarding, like, it was just weird because no one typically would ever come ask me anything about that. But I was like, wait a second, what are you talking about? So I immediately got worried, but everything is fine. It's no big deal. Um, no, everything is fine. There's no big deal. There's no emergency. There's nothing. Everything is super duper cool. And I don't want anyone worrying about anything. Okay. And that's it. And that's all. I know I'm being super duper cryptic, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I was in the middle of a show and it caught me off guard and I immediately started worrying, so I had to go find the email and go find out what sis was talking about, who dropped the comment in my chat, and I handled it. I reached out to the good sis. Everything is cool. And I bubbled up the concern from one of our Bougie Gang sisters that just wanted to drop a word to, like, hey, you might want to know this or whatever. And that was that. And that's it. So like I said, I know this may sound weird to someone, but it's going to make sense to whoever was here last night. And that's it. I don't want to, you know what I mean? Sis loves to gossip and tea, but I don't about friends. Okay. And it's not any gossip and tea. It really was just somebody wanted to, like, could you please get a message to our good sis? And I did. And that was really it. Let's pack my bags and Bible to head over to North Carolina to check on our movie. Aww. You guys are so sweet. I love you guys. But yeah, everything is good. And but I wanted to close the loop on that because I felt like some people were kind of like, well, that was weird. And honestly, it just kind of like those texts last night were very like, ew. And it just kind of blew my concentration. But other than that, everything was fine. And I so appreciate you guys are like the most loving, caring people. And we're messy. We like to gossip and all those other things too, right? But you guys are very loving and caring people. And I so appreciate our sis who, reached out last night. She's a doll, and thank you for doing that, and it was very much appreciated by our other sis, right? So okay. But yeah, last night was fun. If you want to hear some creepy yoki story time, just tap into last night. That's it. That's all. Like, and if you guys are reading along in the text, Bible lady, that avatar, unless you guys are reading along in the text, I'm still making my way through it. Unless there's something of a creepy yoki interesting nature, we're not reading the whole thing. I know there's a couple of people who are going through that text with a fine-tooth comb and doing a really good job doing it. I don't know if it's Lady T-Bug. There's a couple of people, I don't wanna name names and get it wrong, but there's a few people, I'm sure you guys if you guys are keeping up in our little sector, there are some people who are committed to going through that text, and it is interesting to listen to, I'm not gonna lie. I just it just gets to be a lot. So I'm reading ahead and I'm reading around. And when I see a block that I think is interesting, I'll bring it maybe once a week or something. But you know what I'm saying? Like it's not something that it's a must do for me because I'm sure you guys can find that. And then you guys can also read it on your own. But if you do see something, say something. Okay. Yes, them folks. Okay. All right, guys. I just wanted to go through this real quick because you guys asked for this and we haven't done it. We did do a little bit the other day. But as far as kind of like a top to bottom, what does Nesto have pending? What's going on here? Let's go run through everything really quick. Or let's do that last. Okay, let's talk about what's been going on the court municipal, the superior court streets all over the country real quick. Let's talk about it because um by the time we finish with Nesto is so freaking exhausting. Do you guys want to do Karen Reed first or you want to talk YSL for a minute? YSL, if you are not keeping up, I guarantee you that you're lost. Now, as far as me telling you about the YSL case, girl, baby, good luck. Okay. Um, but as far as the drama and the gossip of what's going on, as far as the motions to recuse and the all of the recusing of the motions filed to recuse judges and the whole thing that happened with Kayla Bumpus and Kayla being on YouTube and Woody being on YouTube. I didn't watch as much yesterday as I had like the previous days. But as far as, Kayla having feelings about other lawyers on the YouTube streets, giving commentary on what she's got going on. Girl, they were trying to get her together in her comments yesterday. I don't know if you saw that. People were accusing her of having an inflated ego. Sis, you are smelling yourself a bit much. Some people were like, girl, you right on. I mean, sis came to engage on these YouTube streets. Okay. So it was kind of interesting because people are feeling, there's a certain I think people I mean, I feel like she has a certain exuberance. I like that she when she clocks into her live, she's got a smile on her face. She seems happy. She's ready to deliver information. She's not coy about it. It's kind of like, okay, we're going to tell you what you want to know. Da, da, da. And she delivers. So that aspect, I think I've told you guys that consistently since she put up a channel that I was like, I kind of I like this component to this sidebar stuff about what's going on with YSL because there's so many people who have since gotten interested in it because of all of the legalities, all of the legal maneuvering going on right now. This is stuff that really does get people interested when you hear about potential recusal of judges and maybe campaign contributions, which I don't know that that was like illicit behavior or anything like that, but it just seems like it's a perfect storm of drama and nonsense right now. And I don't even want to say nonsense, but it's a lot, and I guess it's nonsensical in term for some people because it's almost like not even nonsensical, unfathomable. I think some people are just still shocked that this is happening to the degree it's happening. So if you're not paying attention and you are a court watcher, this is pretty kind of unique situation that's happening. It is literally if shit show was a situation, it really is. And these guys really could end up getting this whole entire trial dismissed. I mean, there are so many technicalities going on playing in Jeffrey Williams' favor and so many other people. They might find themselves out. And if that's the case, then you know what I'm saying? Like they've been, look, I don't know enough to say about the victims. There's a murder that's been attached to this whole entire thing. So I'm just gonna say this. Um, it's a shit show. But people do deserve a fair trial. And they're gonna have to figure it out. I'm watching. I'm watching. It's a lot going on. Hey Sharon, how are you? It's a lot, a lot, a lot. But it's an opportunity to learn a lot about the process. That's what's so interesting to me. That you could file a motion and it's the technicalities that will get your motion denied. And there's a lot going on. And if you are interested in this case at all, um outside of the case and kind of what's going on behind the scenes with the judges and the recusals and everything else, this is like a good time. And then also with everybody activating a channel, it's a mess. It's a mess. um I understand it definitely is mentally stressful trying to decode what the fuck they trying to say. Absolutely. She hasn't been on YouTube a week and has already gotten into girl. Big mess. Big mess. People are I think I look, that's how you look. When you're popular, people either love you or hate you. And I think people absolutely love her. And there are some people she's starting to build up her list of people that may or may not like her at all, right? Um, I just think it's a ghetto single. You think so? I think almost every municipality has a certain degree of drama going on. We just don't get to be embedded in this way and have so much of like a 360 everybody's going live view of what's going on, right? I need someone to do a whole recap from start to finish, who the drama, and I have no idea what he's actually accused of. Well, sis, this really is something that you kind of there it's not hard to find information on it. Like you could go to I'm not a lawyer but and start from the beginning. Somebody who's going to do a recap of this is I'm sure someone has done a this is YSL in 5 minutes type of a recap. Somebody somewhere has done that. I just know it's not going to be me cuz I don't have I don't have it. But I'm sure someone has done something. If I can find something, I will bubble it up and we'll watch it together. If I can find something, I can do that. I can find somebody's kind of like YSL for Dummies review that can get us all up to speed on what in the Rico is going on here. Okay. And if there isn't one, if they happen to be watching right now, I just gave you an idea for a quick video content. And help us out and give us the skinny quickie on what we need to know down and dirty for people who are just now coming in as recusals are flying all over the place. If Joe, this is what I'm gonna say. If Joey has a channel, we won't know because I bet you what he's probably not gonna call it. He's probably not gonna call. It's gonna be uh, Abraham Abraham's hardware store. You know what I'm saying? Like it's going to be called something so far from Joey Sea Dog. We're not going to know who it is. You know what I'm saying? Joey seems to be all about keeping his um himself private, and I doubt he's going to do something like that. I'm not a lawyer, but breaks it down for in layman's terms. And because she is a layman, she is not a lawyer. She's very interesting. Yeah, I like her. Um, and she's good. Um, there's a lot of people. Kat, not Williams, Seti Nash. I'm not a lawyer, but there's a bunch of people. Um, right. I cannot explain Nesto to people. It's just them. Right. Nesto is too much to explain right now. I don't look, I'm not even going to say that. At the end of the Nesto is an accused scammer. He's a convicted felon who is currently an accused scammer in Fulton County along with many others um of financial and romance scams along with pending felony charges for sexual assault and child pornography. He's facing a RICO in Fulton County, and he happens to have a um, a wife who is the co-host of the Steve Harvey Morning Show. He is a bigamist, alleged bigamist, and has been known to be a ladies' man, having many affairs. And he's accused of financial crimes against people and is sitting for a huge felony in Fulton County. Um, that's it. I mean, it's really, it's complicated in the sense of when you start to try to mention all the other names, the Dre's, the Sonyas, the this, the that, the third, but it's kind of simple in a way. He is an accused scammer. He's an accused scammer and philanderer. And that's what's really going on. But yeah, as far as what's going on with YSL, I do think if you're interested, like people are talking about it, it's probably all up in your feed. Um, Now's a great time to get into it because right now it's on hold. It's quite possible based on the motions that were entered into. Yes, today's going to be a day for some motions too, because Attorney Love and Hilton have to get back to the court with responses for um, their with responses to, I guess, Judge Glanville's motion. I think. Also, there was a motion yesterday that was filed to recuse the new Judge Krause. There was a motion along with Adrian Love and the two district attorneys, Love and Hilton. I mean, basically, there's so many motions out here to basically throw this whole entire case in the trash can. It's absolutely unbelievable. So I don't really know what's going to happen. I think that it's going to end up, I think it's over. Is it at Edwards? Is it at, or it's Adams? I think maybe Judge Adams has it, and she's going to make some decisions. I need to see which motion she has, but we know Judge Adams because she has heard Nesto's case. She's the one who was very kind of persnickety with ADA Taylor and Hannah Rondon, Miss Rondon. Da, 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 da. She's very formal and giving very much superior court. Um, she's going to see some things, so it's going to be interesting. So now is as good of time as any, because who even knows if the actual trial as we know it is going to continue, because just on the face of all of the conflicts due to the ex parte meeting, which was the meeting that was held in private without the benefit of the defense counsel being there. I mean, it's problems. Every time you go from one end to another end to another end, it's like, but then this happened. Oh, okay. And then, but this happened. It's almost like they have the prosecution and the judge have basically painted themselves into corners, and there's really no getting around it. I think it's figuring out the technicalities because it's very complex. It's very complex. Oh, really, Philly girl? Okay. Yeah, I mean, honestly, to me, that was her best show. Um, she had someone on from our sector who, and on was it last night or the night before? And I was just, I don't know what to say. A good thing she had additional guests. That's what I'm gonna say on that. Good thing she had some additional guests. And but look, it is a shit show mess. So people want to have people who've been there, who've seen what's happened. And we know that Bible Lady has been in the courtroom every day. I'm just wondering, I think has, we just look, there's a lot of coverage going on. Yeah, I was floating around and clicked into the live and was like, "Oh, okay. Okay." Anyway, they should free thugs, stop wasting Fulton County taxpayers' money and time. Yeah, I don't, I'm going to be honest with everything that I've seen in the past couple of months going on with that case. I still don't know enough to say that. But whatever, if there's some technicalities and people are not being done right, true justice comes from having the right people convicted of the crime. And also, to your point about wasting taxpayers' money, if this is not being handled in a way that isn't following the rules, it's breaking the law, it's infringing on people's rights and all of those things, then that's a problem. So I'm gonna say it like that. Because there is a murder that's wrapped up into this RICO, and you know what I mean? I'm sure the family is waiting for justice. So I don't really know what they should do or not as far as everybody is concerned. But um, it's a problem. Okay. Yeah. I'm not really sure and what the statute of limitations are, and there's no limit on murder, right? But maybe on some of the other ones they're on a time clock. I'm not sure, but this is a mess. This is like some career ending drama that happened. This is the stuff that can end people's careers. So some of the things that have been alleged in some of these motions as it regards to DA Love and DA Hilton and Judge Glanville. These are some things that can end careers. So, baby, I'm enjoying just sitting back, watching and enjoying kind of as these motions are coming out. It's a Fran Drew. It really is. It's a whole freaking mess. It's awful. Um, Yes, 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 yes. So that's what's going on with YSL. A lot is going on. And if you want to know my recommendations, like I watch Cat Not Williams, I definitely do. Um, if you want to know who some of the players are, like specifically Melnick, I would watch Kayla Bumpus's first live when she went live, in her office, and John Melnick popped in. Woody walked, popped in. That first live was really good. Cat Not Williams was on there. Seti Nash. That was a really good episode. If you kind of know a little bit about what's going on, but you want to see some of the players as far as Melnick and Woody are concerned, which we've all seen Woody outtakes on the internet. But yeah, Kayla is answering a lot of questions. You know what I mean? Yeah, Catnut Williams, Seti Nash. I'm not a lawyer, but the Paralegal Institute. Do you guys watch that channel? Um, it's like the Paralegal Something Institute. It's a dude out of Baltimore. That's a good channel too. He does a lot of voiceover type stuff on his channel. He'll do like long, like 20 to 45-minute explanation videos. But then he went live a couple times over the weekend and was very informative. Um, you know, it's kind of like you guys, it's kind of like your personal choice of who you pick to watch Nesto. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, very, very, very interesting and lots going on. So I highly recommend. I did see Alec Baldwin is starting today. I wonder, like, yeah, I I don't know that I have the brain space to get too much in it, but I might go pop in over there. The next thing that I was looking at, let me drop this because I did find an interesting video. This is kind of a little bit of a helpful video. Talking about Karen Reed. If you guys want to get into this real quick, for those of you who don't know what's going on, but if you are thinking about some corruption, some potential cover up type stuff that's been happening or has been accused to have happened, this is a little bit of that. Okay. This is where some drama. So, what happened with Karen Reed, her boyfriend, died one night after drinking. They were out drinking, partying. They went from one place to another place to a friend's house. Karen was not going into the friend's house. Karen decided to leave. What they are alleging is that Karen and John got into a fight or an argument, and she decided to leave. And in leaving, she backed her car up and potentially hit her boyfriend um, in her SUV, knocked him down, and took off. Okay. That's what's been alleged. What the science, depending on what side you're talking to, the prosecution or the defense, says that there were dog bites, there was signs of different types of trauma. The accident couldn't have happened that way. To some, it very much did happen that way. But then there was also kind of like a good old boy network in this small town outside of Boston where a lot of people know each other. You got the councilman is the state trooper's brother, is the friend or the brother, and then the friend, and then the cousin, and so's married to this one and that one and the third. Anyway, long story short, over the weekend, come to find out, so there was a mistrial last week, right? How did the mistrial happen? Well, according to the judge, the jury stated that they were unable to come to a unanimous vote on their deliberations, right? Come to find out, after the judge did not even poll the jury, which I'm not a judge, I don't know all of the standards, but I've seen in the past where they will ask, is that your, like when they come to any sort of a, after their deliberations, typically they will ask, like, is this your vote? Is this your vote? Is this your, and that did not happen. She basically, she got a note and was told that they could not come to a unanimous vote. And she said she wasn't going to hold them any longer and that she was going to come talk to them in the chambers, dismiss them, and declared a mistrial. Well, over the weekend, turned out that there were some people on the jury who were concerned because there was a majority. So there was a three-prong decision, right? So there was the murder, there was the manslaughter, and then there was the, I think, the driving under the influence or something. There was like a three-prong decision, right? They decided not guilty on one and not guilty on three. They could not decide on two. And I don't know if if the judge had that information or not. What they're saying is maybe they did not give the judge that information. They're giving the judge the benefit of the doubt that she wasn't aware that they had come to a decision of not guilty on prong one and prong three. But basically, Karen Reed's lawyer now is filing to have the charges dismissed, because at the end of the day, why are we going to reset trial when the jury already came to a verdict of not guilty on two charges and could be a mistrial on the lesser charges, which was the set of charges in number two? So that didn't happen for some reason. That was weird. And they can say, hey, we have a decision on two of the three, just not the one, and make a decision if they were going to come back on that one, and that did not happen. So anyway, now that's another shit show that's getting ready to happen, because They're trying to figure out, like, why are we going to take this person to court again? And then if in fact that is the case, then double jeopardy would come into play. Thank you, Pebble Lane. So let me see what this goes into a little bit of detail for any of you who are not familiar with this case. But this has really shined a light, which we all knew that this existed. It's not just us, it's not just them, it's not just anybody. We know that there are good old boy networks all over the place. One person's watching each other's back, and it, you know what I mean? Like, we know, but people aren't standing for it in this particular situation. They feel like Karen's getting the shaft.
The Commonwealth claims that Karen Reed pulled up to 34 Fairview. John got out of the car. She reversed into him and hit him, and then she drove home. That's 4 facts. It's just 4 facts. That's all it is. What evidence do they actually have to prove that that SUV ever hit John? The answer is none. They don't have any. There's no evidence whatsoever that Karen Reed's vehicle ever struck John O'Keefe, or that Karen Reed ever wanted to strike John O'Keefe. In fact, every single piece of material evidence in this case unequivocally proves the opposite. Or Trooper Proctor had, according to the Commonwealth's best and brightest, Trooper Paul, John absorbed the entirety of the collision, a whole collision, with that 3.5-ton SUV entirely with his right arm, launching him some 30 feet. But amazingly, the arm suffered no break, no fracture, and didn't even get a bruise. So how are those injuries properly explained? The evidence is simple. John got into an altercation. He was punched. He tried to defend himself by putting his hands up. He may have even scratched his own nose by putting his hands in front of his face to defend himself. His hands were bruised and covering up.
I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. Those are the words of the defendant 4 times. You heard testimony from 4 different witnesses who overheard and observed those statements from the defendant on January 29th, 2022. What the constellation of the facts and the evidence ineluctably demonstrate here is that the defendant drove her vehicle in reverse, 24.2 miles per hour, for 62.5 feet, struck Mr. O'Keefe, causing those catastrophic head injuries. From that facts and that evidence, I would submit ineluctably demonstrates her guilt on each of the indictments before you, and I would ask that you find it so. Thank you.
Very important part of the case.
The Commonwealth claims that Karen Reed pulled up to 34 Fairview. John got out of the car. She reversed into him and hit him.
Okay, hold on a second. I thought there was another.
Since 1848.
Girl, we're not going back that far. Okay, we're not gonna go back that far. Anyway, girl, 1848. Okay, we're just trying to get caught up, not girl. Anyway, so we're gonna wait to see what happens. Says that likely nothing will happen from this right now. It'll happen on appeal. Well, but there's nothing to appeal. There was a mistrial. There's nothing to appeal yet. We have to actually find out, are they going to actually go back to court? If they don't go back to court, there won't even be an appeal. So the next 12 days, the judge is going to have to make a decision whether to bring that jury back in between them resetting another trial date. But if they do reset another trial date, at the end of the day, what was proven in this first trial was that, and what people also know is that out of the 3 charges, out of the 3 prongs of things that they had to deliberate on, 2 they already found her not guilty. So it's quite possible that based on all of the interference, the rush to judgment, all of the things that kind of weighed against Karen in the investigation played to her benefit during the trial. So we'll have to see. Yeah, it could be something to come out in appeal, but there's nothing to appeal just yet because there's no verdict. They're going to have to redo the whole entire trial. And at this point, if they can get some relief through the initial verdicts on the 2 decisions that were basically made that for whatever reason the judge decided to not even bother to ask about, she might not even go back to trial. But we'll see. If they bring her back to trial, then I don't think that the judge that her attorneys are worried. Because what that means to me as a layperson is that the state was unable to convince the jury to a majority that she was actually guilty. They didn't bring the case. They were not able to show over a shadow of doubt that she was actually guilty of what they said she was guilty of. So I mean, it might just be a complete acquittal. We'll see what happens. I can't see this trial being restarted. Too many witnesses. There's so much information out here. The whole case is out here on the streets, not to mention the police officer, the state trooper is now on, first he was on paid leave and now he's on unpaid leave. And then there were some people trying to stick up for him on the news talking about, well, now his kids are not going to have access to health insurance and this, that, and the other thing. But okay, and that's true. And but he should have thought about that when he's asking about victims having naked pictures in their phone. He should have thought about that when he was gossiping with his sister about state business and police investigations. You know what I'm saying? Like, people have to learn how to start taking their job seriously and stop thinking that when you're on the job that that's actually your space and opportunity to gossip and dish about people when you have a very serious job and people's lives are at risk. So the state trooper who is now sitting there on administrative unpaid leave, I mean, oh well, people need to understand, fuck around with the fuck around, you're gonna find out. And you're gonna have to go take money out of your savings account, and they're gonna just have to run those kids to the doctor's appointment and take about $150 and $250 out the bank and go pay for those visits. Like anybody else who does not have insurance. Because if daddy would have taken his job more seriously and not been gossiping on the job and not been trying to be cute, sending out funny texts about people who are sitting in jail or who are likely to sit in jail because something unfortunate just happened to a loved one of theirs, and you guys, because she's an outsider, all of a sudden rush to judgment that, and because y'all hate her lawyer and all kinds of whatever it was, whatever the reasons they came up with, whatever they came up with. Now you're sitting around and people are concerned about him getting a paycheck. What about Karen Reed? Is she going to work? Hasn't her money been interrupted? You know what I mean? Like, that's messed up. She lost her boyfriend all of a sudden. And then she says that so the brother did an interview. The brother of John O'Keefe does believe that Karen is guilty, of course. And I can understand how they feel because they lost their brother. And he feels like, I feel like they accept, it makes sense to them, the story that they heard, right? Now, I'm not going to say they didn't like Karen. I don't know. But the brother immediately says, well, the relationship was coming to a close. Well, he was still out with her. He was taking her out around his friends. They were hanging out, whatever. It was just the immediate first thing he said in the interview was, the relationship was coming to a close. So everything we're going to hear about is allegedly like Karen must be pissed or Karen's not happy. How do we know she wasn't happy that the relationship was coming to a close? We really don't know. So I don't know. It's an interesting situation, and then all the drama surrounding. I hate it for John O'Keefe's mother because the lady looks very sad and upset, and I don't ever want to know what that feels like. The lady lost a son, and for that, condolences and all of the things. So, again, you guys know how I feel. If someone is guilty, they need to pay. And the trials, the legal process needs to work itself out in a decent, orderly, fair manner. So I'm going to leave it at that. I do kind of feel like Karen has probably gotten the short end of the stick, and I feel like there was some prejudice against her um because he was a police officer and the police officers have his back in death, even though they may not have had his back while they were all drunk over to homie's house. And I don't know. I really don't. But it's an interesting case. So if you're not following um Karen Reed, let me see, and it's Reed as in READ, like read a book. Um, it's very interesting. I'm sure you guys have seen her pictures in your timeline. Um, you guys saw her, right? Let me see. And they are under investigation by the FBI, so you guys know this too. So there's a lot going on. I did see someone say that Judge Adams has recused herself, which is not a bad thing. If she has a personal relationship with some of these people, which they all work together, they're like people have said last night, they're going to have to get somebody from outside of Fulton County. So that's Karen Reed right there. They're going to have to get someone for this particular situation. They're going to have to get someone from outside of Fulton County because all these people know each other and it's a mess. They all these judges work up under Glanville, and if Judge Adams went ahead and recused herself, she's okay, that's look, Judge Adams said y'all not gonna get me in this shit show, like I'm good, like we all, I have a that guy is my boss, or he's my lead, he's the chief, um and X, Y, and Z. And I'm going to just go ahead out the gate. I'm not getting into this shit show. I do not blame her. That was actually smart. That was smart. Okay. Hey, Rockin' Robin, how are you? Good. You know what I mean? If he's not going to be missing anything, are you talking about the state trooper? Mm. So what do you think? He got into a fight outside. The dog attacked him because there was some sort of drama with the dogs. We're back on John O'Keefe again and Karen Reed. You think the dog came and attacked him outside? Because she said, I did not give away my dog. He was rehomed. Okay, ma'am. So John had a car accident previously. Oh, Paul O'Keefe was arrested 2 to 3 years ago for drunk driving. Karen paid his bail. Plus, the other driver was left paralyzed. And what happened to Paul? What happened to Paul? Nothing. You guys are funny. It's just the random details. Guys, what about the guy Michael Jackson-Bolanos, who is alleged to have killed the was it Miss Wall? I mean, did he have on a different three-piece suit every single day? What the hell was up with that? He said, I'm gonna wear my suits. He said, if y'all getting ready to lock me up, I'm getting ready to get convicted of murder. I'm wearing all my suits until I got to go back into my orange. Hold on a second. If you guys have not seen this guy, have they come back with a verdict yet? Are they still waiting? Didn't they rest their case yesterday? Oh, they did. Did they have closing? They did have closing arguments. This is going on in Detroit. Sir had on a peach color 3-piece suit. They went and got him a bunch of suits from like the Steve Harvey collection. Girl, he had on every single piece. Hold on a second. Let me find him. Baby, they asked him some questions. They were like, "Okay, were you out robbing cars that night?" He said, "Yes." He said, "Yeah, there was about several cars. I went to this car, that car, this dude right here. Hold on." Girl, he had on the whole suit. He had the matching tie they gave him. You don't know what happened? Let's see. Let me tell you what happened. This guy right here is in Detroit and he is on trial for murder. Let's just see what this article is saying. Michael Jackson-Bolanos maintains he did not kill Wool during testimony, admits lying to the police. Well, let's hear. Are they going to? Girl, if they run some commercials, I'm going to be like,
the statement about I don't lie, that itself is a lie, right?
Yes.
The man accused of killing Samantha Wool back in October, back on the stand. Michael Jackson-Bolanos facing tough questions from prosecutors under cross-examination.
Remember telling the police that I don't steal?
Yes.
Right, that is a lie, correct?
Yes.
A liar, a thief. Jackson-Bolanos admitting he was out stealing from cars at the time of Wool's murder, but maintaining he's not a killer.
Your statement to the police about not seeing anyone else out there, that is a lie, right?
Yes. They told me that I had went in somebody's house. That's what I told them. I did not see anybody. I didn't want to be accused of something I didn't do.
And Jackson-Bolanos says that's exactly what happened when he was arrested and interrogated by police more than a month after Samantha Wool's body was found outside her Detroit home. She had been stabbed 8 times. Her mentally unstable ex-boyfriend had confessed to the crime, but was never charged.
what? What? You guys didn't tell me that her mentally unstable ex-boyfriend admitted to the crime, but he was never charged. And they trying to charge Michael Jackson-Bolanos
Did it surprise you?
because he was out stealing from cars that night. Girl, this is like a real
To
whodunit.
find out that you lied over 40 times about not seeing anyone besides a security guard and a homeless person. You said that 40 times just on November 30th alone. Does that surprise you?
Don't know.
Look, just because I lied doesn't make me a murderer. How about that? Just because I lied doesn't make me a murderer. And the man who actually said that he lied, he did it. Is it because he is mentally unstable that we're not believing him? But the more calm, cool, and collected, savvy car thief now is the murderer? Ooh, Jesus.
I'm not sure.
You're not sure? Well, you
I'm
watched
not
it.
sure if it's surprising. I mean,
It's another
you try being
Frandrew,
accused of
guys.
killing somebody.
Jackson-Bolanos claims he came across Wool's body, checked to see if she was okay, got scared, and ran.
I'm stated that I did touch the body. I was telling the truth. I'm here today as sworn and affirmed to tell the truth.
Right.
I may have lied in the past, but today I'm telling the truth. Last week, telling the truth.
Defense attorney Brian Brown calling a Detroit police officer who transported the defendant to jail after the interrogation.
No, he just kept saying that he was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
I asked you whether or not you remember if Mr. Jackson-Bolanos mentioned anything about coming across a body. You remember that, correct?
Yeah, he said he came across the body.
That officer admitting he didn't mention that in his police report.
Did you kill Samantha Wool?
No, I did not.
Did you go inside of her apartment?
I did not.
Closing arguments are Tuesday morning. In Detroit, Amy Lang, Fox 2 News.
Baby. Oh my God. Wait, let's see. They are not let's see what they said initially. Suspect charged in home invasion rather than hate crime. So they immediately thought, is she a synagogue leader or something? Oh, something on Reddit. That's probably not gonna. So that's interesting. I didn't know that her boyfriend, her mentally unstable boyfriend, confessed. That's crazy. Um, let's see what they're saying here. So this was around the time he got arrested. He looks a major breakthrough in the murder investigation. Can you guys see this? Oh, yes. Hold on. Just the reader. Yeah. Okay. Um, can y'all see this? Okay, it's better. Okay, major investigation, the murder investigation of Detroit synagogue leader Samantha Wool has come after police announced charges against a new suspect. Wool, 40, a respected and popular synagogue leader, was found brutally stabbed to death in late October. Authorities believe she was attacked inside her home and then stumbled out before collapsing on the sidewalk. Here's what we know so far about the suspect, Michael Manuel Jackson-Bolanos. On Wednesday, police named the latest suspect of Wool's murder, 28-year-old Michael Miguel. Did they say Michael Miguel? Michael. First they said Michael Manuel. Now it says Michael Miguel. Which one is it? Jackson-Bolanos from Detroit. The charges, which mark a major breakthrough in the case, were announced 3 days after the Detroit police announced that the person of interest was in custody on Sunday. Little information about Jacksonville. So fast forward, obviously they're on trial now. He faces charges of felony murder, home invasion, and one count of lying to law enforcement. Jackson Michael Jackson Bolanos was charged with the murder of Samantha Wall. According to the Department of Corrections, Jackson Bolanos was convicted of receiving and concealing a stolen motor vehicle in 2019. According to Michigan Department of Corrections, he spent 2 years on probation and went to serve 4 years in prison over a similar offense. The Free Press reports Jackson-Bolanos was arrested on 10 December after he came on law enforcement's radar due to several car thefts in Wool's neighborhood. But what about the boyfriend who confessed? What about that? How do you have someone give a confession but you go for the car thief? Does that even make sense? Um, Bolanos entered a not guilty plea on the same day and was publicly identified as the sole suspect in the investigation. The attorney told reporters that the client was innocent and a victim of circumstantial evidence, also noting the previous arrests made in the case. It's pretty significant that they originally arrested an individual prior to arresting my client. I'm going to be looking at the circumstances surrounding that. Jackson-Bolanos attorney Brian Brown said to the Detroit Free Press, truthfully, I think there's a lot of publicity in this case, was receiving a lot of pressure by Detroit Police Department to hopefully come up with somebody, and my client maintains his innocence. And I think he was a victim of circumstance and not an individual who perpetuated the crime. Mr. Brown said his client has a full-time job at the time of his arrest. Look, prosecutors allege Jackson-Bolanos' initial court hearing that the suspect used a straight edge cutting instrument to stab Wool. Oh. A coat found in the apartment of Jackson-Bolanos' girlfriend had Wool's blood on it, said the assistant prosecutor Ryan Easley. Could that have been when he touched the body? It appeared to be consistent. Where Look, I don't know what I would do, but I know if I saw someone laid out, maybe I would just call 911. I don't know that I'm gonna touch them unless they're like, "Oh, I don't know. I don't know." I hope to God that I never even have to find out. I'm gonna be honest. Be consistent with a very small jacket he was wearing the night she was killed. Miss Easley told the court, I don't necessarily agree with the charges. Mr. Brown also told the Associated Press, we'll wait for the evidence. Jackson-Bolanos is not believed to have had any prior connection to Wall, prosecutors said. According to the police, he is not an acquaintance of Walls and appears to be a random stranger. The police statement read, in an effort to ensure the integrity of an ongoing investigation, no further details will be released. Additional information will be released near future. Jackson is expected to appear in court for probable cause hearing. That was in December. Police have yet to establish a motive. What about the damn boyfriend that admitted to it? That's what I want to know about. Hold on a second. Samantha Wool's boyfriend confession. Yes, here we go. Did they get him up on the stand? He gave testimony? Girl, let's see.
JEFFREYHERBSTMAN.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor. Sir, did you know somebody by the name of Samantha Wool?
Yes,
And how long had you known Ms. Wool?
for years.
Can you approximate the number of years that you knew of her?
Girl, this is him right now.
At least 5, maybe perhaps longer than that. We met through the synagogue. Yeah, a long time ago. Yeah,
Okay. And was this the downtown synagogue in Detroit?
that's correct.
And at some point, did your relationship with Miss Wool become romantic?
Yes.
And approximately when did that happen?
In August of 2022, we started a romantic relationship.
Okay. And how long did your romantic relationship with Miss Wool last?
Until July of 2023.
Okay. And during the time that the two of you were together, did you live together or live separately?
We lived separately.
And what precipitated the ending of your relationship in July of 2023?
We had difficulty communicating. I'm not particularly good at sharing my feelings, and it caused stress between us. And we really wanted to make things work, but I didn't know how.
And when the two of you broke up, who initiated the breakup?
Samantha initiated the breakup.
Okay. And after the two of you broke up, was there ever any effort to rekindle things or get back together?
Yes, several times.
And did you ever end up getting back together and getting back into a relationship with Samantha?
Yes.
And when did that happen?
Initially the breakup was just a conversation where she came to me and said that she wanted to end things. We had a long conversation and got back together the next
Excuse me, sir. Can we get to the part where you confessed to killing her, please?
day. Subsequently, it lasted for
Look at the
few
judge.
hours
The
until I
judge is
came
like,
and brought
what?
Flowers and apologized and trying to figure things out. And then the third time, she wrote me a text message, and I said that I understood, and that was the third time that we broke up.
Okay. And the sort of 3 times that you broke up, what was the sort of time frame of all 3 of these sort of instances?
That was over June and July.
Okay. And after the final time,
in July, was there any sort of effort or discussion at that point about possibly getting back together?
Yes, in late July, Sam came to me wanting to get back together.
Why did y'all say she has several necks? Ma'am looks bored. And I don't know why in the back of my head I'm thinking, unbig my back.
I told
Look, all jokes aside, this testimony, we're gonna have to listen to this, but at the end of the day, is if his lawyer was able to give reasonable doubt that we really should listen to the closing argument, because if attorney Brian, I can't think of his last name at this moment, was able to deliver reasonable, just because you're a car thief, just because you're a petty thief doesn't make you now all of a sudden a murderer, right? That's number one. Doesn't mean you can't be, doesn't mean he hadn't got caught yet, because I don't know Michael Miguel or Michael Manuel Bolanos Jackson girl at all, right? However, you have a damn confession. How do you have a confession and then you still out here looking for people? I agree with you guys. Now, if he's crazy, are they trying to say he's so mentally unstable that he can't be believed either? So you have two liars. You have one who was intimately involved, and you have one who's a car thief. You got one who's white, you got one who's black, or brown. He's not of her faith. He's not a white guy who's Jewish from the synagogue. You got the street dude who is a brown man, right? Who's a thief. I'm just saying, what is going on here? One who would have motive, one who didn't have motive. Did they need Bougie Gang to come sort this thing out? Sometimes I know there's procedure and there's law and everything, but sometimes they just need to impart a little bit of practicality in some of these cases. What? You know what I mean? Sometimes it just needs to be what? Wait a second. Come on now. Why wouldn't you work from the confession and then go backwards? If you found that the man is mentally unstable and he confessed, but it doesn't add up and there's just no way he could have done it, then that makes sense. Sir's crazy. He's lost it. Something like that. But how I want to know more about how they went from a confession to continuing to look for someone. And then you've got not the boyfriend, not the person with motive, not the person who broke up 3 times, not the person who may be a Dusty in disguise, not on trial.
right to think about it.
But again, to my point, I didn't get to completely make. If Mr. Brown, is it Brian Brown? If Mr. Brian was able to convey any sort of shadow of a doubt, then it's possible that he'll get acquitted, and then they're going to have to look for the real murderer, and that might be boyfriend over there.
We met for coffee, and I said that I really cared deeply for her, but I wasn't sure how to give her what she wanted in the relationship, and so I really needed to figure that out before we could continue the relationship. And so I said that it's not going to work.
And after that point in July, did the two of you ever sort of rekindle things at all afterward?
No.
Okay. Now, this breakup, was this an acrimonious breakup? Would you say?
No, it was. We talked about things. It was very.
No, that was the same. A snack and a meal. Brian Brown defended that guy who killed the young lady. That wasn't his favorite cousin. He hated her. If it's the case that I'm thinking of with the pretty young lady, the little 19-year-old girl who's so pretty and beautiful, and he was creepy yokiing on her, trying to groom her. Yeah, that was his favorite cousin, all right. That is so disgusting. He did a great job. He just lost a case. He needed to lose that case. You know what? He actually won that case because the guy needed representation, but there's no representing what that guy did. That's my take on it. He did what he could do with the client that he had. He got him a fair trial, but that guy basically took out his own and absolutely was disgusting. Yeah. So he didn't lose a case. That's actually a win. He gave him an opportunity to have representation and someone stand by him while he had to face the music for doing the ultimate dirt. Okay? Not only just killing someone, but killing someone with your own flesh and blood. That's awful. That's awful. So yeah, that's not a lose. That's actually Mr. Brown did his job. Um, and unfortunately, criminal defense attorneys have to sometimes defend guilty people, but there's only but so much you can do. Like the guy in Gwinnett, the Susan Morales. Like, come on, we all knew he did it, and he knew he did it. There was no defending all of the sloppy cover up of that murder, right? Um, he got he got what he had the lawyers stand there with him while everything was revealed, while the truth got revealed. Mr. Michael Jackson, I don't know how this is going to turn out. We're going to have to see, but just hearing that this boyfriend is in the bushes and had confessed, I'm already smelling like what? There might be a problem here.
Uh, what's the opposite of acrimonious? It was we talked over things and agreed that things weren't working very well, that our communication wasn't great, and we
Look, sis was 40 years old. You sitting up there arguing with a damn man that doesn't want to marry you, and you're the leader of a whole entire synagogue in Detroit. Sis had to have had many options. Why she was dealing with this bum, I do not know. It's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate for her. I'm sad for her that this guy seems like a real bum.
we just decided that things weren't working out.
After, I guess after this happened, when was the last time you directly spoke with Sam in person?
Okay, guys, I got to go pick up my daughter from tennis. If you guys want to watch this testimony and then watch the closing argument, we can come back and I'll just put this on and we can watch it live. Because this is part one. I guess there's a part two, and then I would like to hear Mr. Brian Brown's closing arguments because I think they are. I don't know if the judge gave final instructions and they are in the process of delivering a verdict, but um this case is coming to a close. The state's case was sloppy. They seem to push MJB through as a classic criminal, black burglar. Yeah, black burglar turned murderer when you've got a confession. Tried to say that he ended her in her house, but no way that he could have. Ooh, no way that he could have. Blackbird. So stereotypical. So like a stereotypical type of thing. Some obvious stereotypes type thing. Okay, verdict watch. Let's Okay, we'll come back to that. We'll come back. Give me like an hour, guys. We'll come back and we'll get into this. Sounds like a date. Okay. Yeah, why not? Right? I know some of you guys, true crimers out here, are not necessarily into this aspect of true crime, but this is part of life, y'all. This is part of life. I did look up some scammer cases yesterday too, some things going on. So yeah, this is very current right now. Let's hear the boyfriend because I want to hear when he testifies to him saying he killed her and how they dialed that back. I just want to hear that. Now, Mr. Michael Jackson, I don't know if we're going to be able to listen to all his tests. I was actually listening to some of his testimony yesterday. Because I was like, Sir has been rocking, like, what caught my attention was I'm like, Sir is rocking these 3-piece suits. What's going on here? Anyway, okay, I'll see you guys let's say no later than 3:00. Okay. And then we'll get this party started again. All right. I'll put up a live for 3. Okay. And maybe in the interim, we might get a verdict. You guys think they're coming back soon? Ugh. Oh my God, we're all late to the party. Well, I'm late to the party on this. Bougie Gang as a whole is late to the party, but obviously some of you guys have been watching this. So anyway, okay, I'll be back. And then we'll get back into this, okay? All right, hold on a second. Okay, guys, I love you. I'm not even going to play the outro. Should I play the outro at this time? All right, guys, I'll see you in a little bit.
Walk it like I talk it. 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 Walk it like I talk it.